Hi, guys, and welcome to The Leap. We're so excited to be back again. I mean, it's a time of year where the seasons are changing. We're kind of getting ready for winter, but we need to keep our mindsets sharp. So we have a fabulous guest today who's going to help us stay in line, especially to our millennial community members. We want to keep you engaged, and we have the perfect person to help you do it. Her name is Alexis Parris. She is the host of the Empowered Millennial. That's a podcast, by the way. She's an entrepreneur, and she's a personal development coach. She's also an author, and she's a speaker. My God, this young woman has a lot of stuff on her plate. And she's the author of a book called Why I Quit College: The Truth Exposed That Will Set You Free. And this is a guide for millennials. And guys, today she's going to help set us free. Right, Mac?
Absolutely. We are so happy to have Alexis here. Like, I've been watching this young lady for a couple of years now. And you may not even know this, Alexis, but I used to watch prior to you enrolling into school, because I know your mom, we're very good friends, and she is so proud of your accomplishments as a dancer. So she would always share how you were doing, how well you were doing, how focused you were, and how determined you were to walk in your passion. So when you went to school to become a dancer, we were all very proud. And then when you left school, there was like a shift. It's like, what do you mean she's not in school anymore? But you left college, stepped out, and began to walk into your purpose. And I first want to say congratulations on that, because not a lot of people are able to take that leap. Not a lot of people are able to walk out on faith and do something other than what everyone expected you to do. So kudos to you for that.
Yes.
And then I just want to get right into it and ask you a question. I mean, I really want you to tell us more about the Empowered Millennial. What motivated you to get this started? We have to know.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for the intro. It's such a pleasure and honor to be a guest on The Leap. And I'm so glad I have the opportunity to share value with those who are listening. So what is the Empowered Millennial about, and how did I get motivated to start it? So the Empowered Millennial, the purpose and the mission behind it is to spread the messages of personal development globally. That's the main reason why I started. Personal development has been a huge contributor to why I am the person that I am today, and how I have evolved. And so I understand that when my generation of millennials get into contact with this information, then they'll be able to become the best version of themselves, and they'll be able to develop themselves into the world leaders of tomorrow. So the podcast in itself is here, and its purpose to spread the messages of personal development globally to my generation, to teach them principles, knowledge, and strategies to help them become the best version of themselves, to create their best life, and to become the next world leaders. And I was motivated to do it because before I had the podcast, for those of you who haven't been connected to me for a while, before I had the podcast, I had this venture called Anomalies at Work. And so it was like this Facebook community, and I was doing it for a while. I did it for like almost a year. And then I wasn't, feeling it. And, I based it off of results, right? So as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to know when to let things go. Like when enough is enough, when growth is not happening, when you're not getting the results that you should be. So I assessed it. I was like, all right, it's time to end this one and start something new. So the podcast was a recommitment to my path. It's so easy to start something or commit to a path or decide to go on a path and get distracted by other things. So I was like, I know this is my path. I know I'm here to spread the message of personal development, to create a global impact, to help a lot of people. And so what can I do to make sure I stay on my path? And what can I do to recommit to it? Because I just ended this venture. So what am I going to do to recommit? And so I created the podcast, and it's going so well so far.
Wow, wow, wow. Kudos to you. I mean, just to have the courage of audacity, to look at your life and say, okay, this is what I wanted to do. It wasn't working for me, so let me reassess. So in line with that kind of thinking, what are some of the challenges that you personally have had to overcome in order to be at this space in your life?
Right. This is a great question. Thanks so much for asking. So as a millennial, we have a craving of having friends. And maybe it's not even deep, meaningful relationships, but the ability to just have people around us is like a craving that we need to satisfy. And so as I made the decision to go on this path, it's very lonely. I don't really have peers that are my age that I can speak to, that I can relate with. There's very few. And it's hard to find them like in person, so on this journey, it's been lonely, but you have to have the mentality, it's all about perspective, right? So you could see it as, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this thing that's that's not expected of me. I'm going to be all alone. Or you could see it as an opportunity to really dive deep into self-discovery, right? And so that's what I've taken it as, like, wow, like I have the opportunity to really know who I am, to really figure out what my likes, what my dislikes are, what my passions are, what I am called here to do, and that's what really has helped me overcome the challenge of not having my peers around me, because it's like, oh my goodness, I would love to hang out with my peers, but they're all in school and they're not all entrepreneurs. So you have to, that's definitely a challenge. And also when you commit to the straight and narrow path, you can't do what everyone else is doing. That is a challenge that you have to overcome as well. You can't go where everyone else is going. You can't speak the way that everyone speaks. You cannot show up on social media the way that everyone else shows up. And that's a price that you have to pay. That's a part of your cross you have to carry,
Yeah.
And so those challenges are something that you have to keep in mind, something that you have to consider before you even dive in, so that you stay committed no matter what.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I would just add this really quickly, that when those people who are in college are out and then they start getting married and having kids, then they're going to want to hang out with you, and you're going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy.
Right.
Hanging out with my piles of money.
Right. Flying overseas to speak globally, because I know that is such a passion, the personal development and reaching people across the world. And I have to say across the world, because your reach is further than the United States. Yeah. I love what you said. And I applaud it, because I was like, wow, that's like a mindset shift. And sometimes we have to shift our words to allow a certain type of perspective. And you said, I have the opportunity. So when we asked about challenges, you mentioned challenges, but you also said, I have the opportunity to. And when we switch it and look at it as an opportunity instead of, back, or this didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, it could totally give us that energy boost to refuel and be able to move forward in whichever direction we need to make that adjustment in. So I love that. I have the opportunity. That's my little nugget. I wrote that down. So you mentioned a few, but what are a couple of other, as we would say, maybe pitfalls that you encountered other people if they're going to take a leap of their own?
Mm-hmm. Great question. So it's so easy when you want to take the leap to consider what everyone else is saying about you. I remember when I was deciding to leave school, it's so easy to get so many different voices in your head and to silence your own. And that is a major pitfall that people can fall into, that I almost fell into before I made the decision. And so when you make the leap, you have to understand that it's for you and it's not for anyone else. It's your own decision. It's your path that you're deciding to go on. and your voice has to be the loudest. Yeah, you can get some counsel maybe from your covenant friends or your parents, but at the end of the day, it has to be your decision. It has to be what your voice said or what you felt your spirit said for you to go. And that's something that I had to do. Like, I had a lot of opinions. People were like, no, just take out a few more loans. I was like, what? No, we're not going to do that, right? But, I had a lot of people say stay, but I knew, like, at the deepest part of me, at my core, that I wasn't supposed to be there. And so that's what I was able to follow. That's what allowed me to take the leap, to really listen to my own inner voice and to block out everyone else's. That's a huge one that people can fall into that you don't want to, because then you'll live a life of regret, right? And you'll have that question like, oh my gosh, what if I did that? What could have my life been like if I actually went on that path and didn't listen to everyone else, So yeah, I think that's definitely a huge one. And
that's powerful in itself.
Yeah, it is. And I would say it's also important not only that you could potentially lead a life of regret, but Sameka and I talk about this all the time, is the necessity that was kind of built into our hardware to help others. And so by you not doing what you're called to do, you're in effect not being able to be available to help the people who need to be impacted by your life and your life's gifts. So that in itself, I mean, yes, definitely, you don't want to silence your voice. That's powerful. And I would say that's another piece as well. So, okay. So we've talked about challenges. We've talked about pitfalls. What would you say to someone who's like, I want to do this, or I want to start my own business, or I want to be a personal development speaker, just like Alexis. And they're sitting on the fence of making that dream, or they're in that start and stop mode. Okay, 1 week they're doing it, and then the next week they're stopping. What would be some of the advice that you can share?
Right. So usually when people are in that position, you're like, oh my goodness, so what happens? What will happen if I do it? Like, what will it work out? Will people accept me? Will I actually reach the people that I want to reach? But the question should be, what if you don't? Right? What if you don't show up? What if you don't use your gifts to your fullest capacity? What if you don't be the person that you were created to be? Like, who's going to be affected? Whose dreams are not going to be able to become a reality because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, right? So if you're on the fence, ask yourself, like, what if you don't? Like, what happens if you don't really live the fulfilling life that you're capable of, that you're responsible to have, that it's your right to have? And, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Like, do it afraid, do it scared, do things that are going to commit you to your path. Put your money into it, right? That'll make you commit quickly. Okay. So I don't like, sometimes you can't even think about it. Sometimes you have to, because your brain is programmed to keep you safe, right? It doesn't want you to experience pain. It wants you to survive, right? So sometimes you can't even listen to your brain. You have to go with what your gut is telling you, what your heart is telling you, and just take the first step. Take the step that's going to launch your path. And oftentimes it has to be separated from logic. I remember when I started my podcast, I heard it from some guy. He was talking about all of his testimonials and the things he experienced after starting his podcast. I was like, oh, goodness, I think I could do that. Right. So the next day I went on YouTube. I was like, all right, what do I need? What kind of mic do I need? What kind of lighting do I need? What software do I need? What hosting do I need? I paid. I was like, all right, guys, I made an announcement to the house. I was like, guys, I just paid for my stuff. Like, it's legit. Like, it's happening. Right. Whether I like it or not, I just spent my money. So it's happening. Right. So do things that are going to create a sense of urgency within yourself to get started. They're going to commit you, even when it doesn't even feel like you should commit. And this is the thing too. So the day we commit, we're like, oh my gosh, we're so excited. And the longer we wait, the faster it dissipates. The faster
so true.
It goes away, right? So as soon as you have that urge to start something, start it immediately, or else doubt will set in, fear will set in, other people's opinions will set in. So do it as soon as you have the urge. and do it immediately. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
I love that. And you're definitely one of those that are like, do it scared, make the public declaration. So I could totally see you in the house making that announcement to everyone. And you've told us in other settings, you've told me in other settings that when you make those declarations, it allows other people to help you, hold you accountable, because we can easily fall out of that place. And like you said, doubt can start to creep in. But once you told the whole house, you've made your announcement on social media. So now you have to continue to move forward. So we want to have a little fun with you, Alexis. And you're always so energetic, so bubbly, so positive. So we thought it would be really cool to do like a quick word association game with you.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So this is your rapid fire response to phrases, all right?
Okay.
Some things that millennials may say. So I'm going to give you a phrase and you tell me what you would say to that, or the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Personal development is for older people.
If you continue to think that way, you'll never live your dream.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
I don't know enough to be an expert
at anything. It's so profound we have to say it in stereo.
It's a good one.
I don't know.
To that one, I would say every expert started as a beginner. Every expert had to learn to get to where they are. So you don't have to know anything to start, because as you learn, you'll become the expert inevitably.
Yeah. So I need to go
I got
to
one for you.
college to get to where I want to go.
Say it again.
I need to go to college to get to where I want to go.
This is not true. I mean, well, okay, it depends. Now, if your dream requires a degree, go to school, man. Like if you want to be a doctor, like you can't be a doctor and not go to school. You know, if your dream requires that, like you need to go to school. Now, some people's dreams don't require degrees. There's so many people who are successful who did not go to school or who left school after like their freshman year or sophomore year. I'm exhibit A, right? So like there's so many success stories. I've interviewed people on my podcast who didn't get a high school diploma who are successful CEOs today. I have people who are six-figure income earners today who didn't complete college. You know, so don't let that false belief stop you from pursuing your dream. Now, if your dream requires a degree, go. If it doesn't, and it's not, and school's not for you, I wouldn't force yourself to be there.
That's nice. That's nice. What about for people who say, because like you said, sometimes your family, their voice, or other people around you, those voices start to spill over. So if someone said, I see how my parents don't enjoy life, I don't want to be like that.
That's good. Well, make the decision to not be that way, right? What are you going to ask yourself? What are you going to do differently, right? You have to kind of assess the decisions that have gotten your parents to where they are right now, and how are you going to do it differently so that you can live a different life. Yeah.
Wow. So that pretty much ends our rapid fire session. Okay. And you did fabulously. Great answers. So, okay. This is the time in the LEAPS program where we just kind of give you an opportunity to talk about some of the things that you have going on, some of the things that you want some of the people within our community to be aware of. And because we just want to support you. We want to give you a platform to share the work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. So my podcast is on iTunes. So you just search Empowered Millennial Podcast on iTunes and you can subscribe there. New episodes come out every Wednesday morning by 9:30. So I'd love for you to tune in there. You can definitely connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at the Alexis Parris. And I'd love to, chat with you if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them too. And yeah, that's about it. Those are the major things there. the upcoming project. So if you guys see me, you must have seen pieces or parts or my entire family as well. You know, I cannot take credit for where I am today. Can't take all of the credit for sure. Definitely, first credit goes to God. I'm a big Jesus ninja. Secondly, my parents are amazing. They have, you know, kudos to their parenting, because without their parenting, without their support, without their guidance, I would not be where I am today. You know, a lot of people don't have the luxury of support, you know, so like my entire process from leaving school to where I am now, there's just support there. There was no opposition. They've always supported me no matter what venture I am doing. So definitely credit to them. And then also, you know, me doing my part. But my family, we're hosting a summit. It's called the All In Family Conference. It's happening in Jacksonville, Florida, November 18th. So if you're in the surrounding areas, the Carolinas, Georgia, or in Florida, anywhere, definitely connect with us. We'll be there live for the first time, connecting with people, pouring into people. And so I'll be speaking. My family will have definitely a phenomenal lineup as well. Sameka is one of the speakers.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Just have to say, for a young woman, you are a phenomenal personal development coach and a phenomenal speaker. So I know that you have a passion for helping millennials, and you also have a passion for helping the younger generation. So if someone was interested in reaching out to you for a speaking engagement, or you know, wanted to get in touch with you in terms of personal development, because I think in your family has like phenomenally started instilling personal development at an age. So how could someone get in touch with you if they wanted to really bring personal development to a younger generation? Where could they reach you?
Yes, thank you so much for that, Smack. I forgot. So you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm always on there. Just send me a message on either my business page at the Alexis Parris, or my personal page at Alexis Parris as well. Just send me a message and I respond immediately. But I love getting into the schools and speaking to the young people as well. So if you have a school, if you have a group of young people, an organization, a club, I'd love to come in and teach them some principles that will set them up for success, that will catapult their success as well.
Yeah. Nice. So, okay, you are pretty much going to take over the world. I mean, I already see it now. On the moon, there'll be just like a little city called Alexis Parris. So we just need to go and get ready, right? So I want to ask you, being that you have a millennial mindset, and you have a millennial, you have a heart for the millennial community, what would be something that you would share as like parting words, or anything that you've encountered that are words that you sit on?
Yes. So one is that our generation needs to understand that personal development is an irreplaceable ingredient to success. If you have dreams, if you have passions, that's fantastic. However, you will not be able to get there unless you develop yourself, unless you become more than what you are right now to get there. Because usually our dreams, our goals, our desires require more of who we are. And personal development helps you develop into that person. So I need our generation to understand that that's necessary, and it's not taught in school. Okay, so you have to go outside of school. You have to, talk to people of success. You have to read the books. You have to sign up for courses. You have to get to events, people who value more in life, so that you can learn these things, because it's not taught in the regular educational system. And secondly, there is this phrase that I say all the time at the end of all of my videos. It goes like this: be great, be awesome, and do you. Every single day. Be great, meaning never settle for anything less. If you know that you have great potential within you, if you know that you're called to be great, why would you settle for anything less? You are capable of greatness. We all are. It's not like it chooses some people, and some people have it, some people don't. We all have the ability to be great. What it is that you have to make the decision to be, and then take necessary actions to get there. But be great, don't be average. Secondly, is be awesome. That means to be comfortable in your own skin, right? Be confident in your gifts and your talents and abilities to show up in the world, to share your gifts with people, to do it confidently and unapologetically, to be awesome, right? And then the last one is to do you, right? Do you, right? Everyone's path is not the same, right? So you don't want to ever compare your path, your journey with someone else's, because we're all different. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different value systems. So do your path, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled. Do not conform to what other people's definition of success looks like or what other people's dreams are. Do yours, because you want to live a fulfilling life. And you will only do that if you're living a life that you envision, not what other people have envisioned for you.
Yes.
Wow. I love that.
Yes. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. So, I mean, Alexis, you've really blessed me today, and I hope that you've blessed all the leapers out there who are either sitting on the fence or walking around with a diary full of thoughts and visions and goals and aspirations but just hasn't been able to act on it. Or even the people who just made the decision to leap and they're like, what now? So I thank you so much. The Leap community thanks you so much for being here. And before we go, can you say your mantra again? Be great, be awesome.
Be awesome and do you every single day.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much, and join us next time for the next episode of The Leap. We want to thank Alexis Parris for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next time. We look forward to you leaping forward now.
Thank you for having me.